So welcome to the webinar on the 3 biggest mistakes you are making with money and how to avoid them. This is Shannon Tran, and I'm going to provide some really great content, some value, but also some practical tips that you can begin to implement right away, because I believe seeing immediate results can really help us build momentum and also give us the confidence that, this information and wisdom really works. So what I'm going to do is take myself off video and share my screen so you can actually see the content here. Can you just let me know, can everyone see my slides? Awesome. So I'm going to start with the quote. Money is multiplied in practical value depending on the number of W's you control in your life. What you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with who you do it. And that comes from Tim Ferriss, and he's a successful entrepreneur, and he's about mindset and high performance. And when you think about this quote, that is a lot of what people want, is to be able to, live a life where you're doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, and with who you want to do it, with the people you love, because it's a very powerful place to be. And these changes in our mindset will help you get there. So my intention is to really get you back in the driver's seat of your relationship with money, teach you the 3 biggest mistakes you're making with money and how to avoid them, share why your results with money are a result of your current mindset, how to adjust it so you can have a powerful relationship with money, and then give you the opportunity to join me in money flow. Hope that sounds good to everyone. So let me share a little bit about who I am and why this is important to me. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I've been a licensed clinical psychologist for 17 years now, working in corporate America, and I love it. And I'm also creating my own business, which gives me flexibility and allows me to help people in different ways through coaching. I'm also the founder of Achieve with Ease, and what we really focus on is helping people have more personal and financial freedom in their life. I teach a lot of leadership classes, and of course, how to create a powerful relationship with money, because money it touches all areas of our life. I'm the author of 3 books. I'm a certified money practitioner from the Quantum Success Academy, and I'm a mother, wife, and avid reader. In fact, my 3 children, I thought they started school today. They did not. They start tomorrow. So they may come at the very end of the webinar. My husband has taken them out to give us some quiet time, but I do want to prepare you. If you hear a barking dog, or if you hear 3 children coming around, that's because this is life when you're at home and being of service. So what I want to share with you today is what blocks the flow of money. And this is really important, because if we don't know what blocks it, what will happen is we'll struggle to move forward, or we'll be working really hard and not seeing results. And if you've ever been there, I know that that can be a really frustrating place, because I've been there before I learned and implemented what I'm going to share with you today. So hopefully that sounds good to all of you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer questions along the way. So what I want to do is share, one of the biggest money mindset mistakes that we can make. And what I love about the 3 that I'm sharing with you is, quite honestly, you can apply this to any relationship in your life. Because if you've ever heard of that saying, where you are anywhere is where you are everywhere. And so, we want to kind of notice how we show up in these different areas of our life, particularly around money, because that's such a big one for so many of us. So a big mistake that we often use with money is using poor language. So can anyone relate to this? Do you ever use words like, I can't afford it, or I hate money, or just really paid attention to the language that you use with money? And the reason why that's important is language reflects what you believe, and so it also reflects what you can receive. So when we use negative or poor language with money, it makes it very difficult to be in the flow. So what I want you to do is just pay attention to, like, what do you say about money? Do you say that you don't deserve it? Do you say you can't have it? Do you say there's never enough? So just really pay attention to the words you use around money. And this can be so powerful in your life, because even think about a relationship, right? If you want a loving relationship, you probably don't say negative things about the person you want to be with, right? You don't call them names, you don't put them down, you don't gossip about them, right? Because you want to show up loving. So when it comes to your relationship with money, just really notice, like, where's your mind? Do you have a lot of anxiety in your relationship with money? Do you expect it not to be there? Like, do you have this thought that money never shows up for me when I need it? So begin to pay attention, because change begins in language. And when you can shift your language and how you speak about money, you can begin to shift your experience and get yourself back in the flow. And with our language, there's these hidden messages, right? So really think about, like, what message are you sending to yourself and others? And, I really started to pay attention to my language, just in little things, like, think about the people who use the word try a lot. So I'm taking this course in understanding language, and it talks about how with try, it almost sets you up for failure. Because think about it, when you say try, you're not really committed, right? So there's that kind of hesitation, that doubt there. So words influence how you think. So begin to really pay attention to the words that you use, and really ask yourself if the words reflect the experience that you want to be having in your relationship with money. And so the example I gave is, imagine, like, if money was your lover, what would you be saying about the person? Are you like, money's never there when I need it? Money's so terrible, I hate it. So just really pay attention. Notice what it feels like when you spend money. How do you feel? Do you get anxious? Notice how it feels when you receive money. Do you feel really awkward? Because being able to receive money is critical for being in the flow. And I don't know about you, but I used to have a hard time receiving money, asking for money, accepting money. Like, if someone wanted to give something to me, it was difficult to receive it. Has anyone had that experience? Like, can anyone relate to that? Where maybe it was hard for you to accept a gift or say yes? So part of being a money flow is also being a great receiver, being a great giver and a great receiver. And when you're able to do both, you will be a money flow. Okay, and you will open up to prosperity. And I'm saying money, but that's just one example of prosperity, because remember, prosperity comes in many forms, right? Prosperity comes in health, it comes in support, it comes with great connections, it comes in other people. So part of this is just opening you up to all forms of prosperity, money just being one of them. So the mistake number 2 is when we put our focus in the wrong direction. And this is a muscle that is really important to develop. And so what can often happen with us is we focus on lack and limitation instead of abundance. And you can notice this pretty quickly when you listen to your language, because you might notice you say things, well, I don't have, or it's not enough, or I've got this bill, or I hate this, or I hate that. So that's going to help you identify mistake number 2 is, where is your focus? Are you focused on what you don't have, what's lacking? Or are you practicing deliberately putting your focus on what you do want? and really noticing what you do have, right? So like if this is a relationship, no partner is perfect. So like imagine you're with your partner. Are you like, oh, these are all the annoying things about my partner? Or are you looking at, okay, yeah, my partner, he may not be the best dresser, but he really is there for me. He's loving, he's kind. So again, it's all about where we put our focus. And when we're in money flow, it's because we are focused on abundance and what we do have, and really sitting in that state of appreciation. And that can be really, really powerful. And I want to just share a quick story about how powerful this is. So about 2 months ago, I went to this workshop. And prior to this workshop, I was practicing a tool that I learned about saying a declaration every morning for about 2 to 3 minutes, and not just saying it, but really feeling it, imagining what it's like as this is true, like really getting into the experience of this affirmation for about 3 minutes every morning. And so the affirmation for me was, I am abundance. And I would feel it, and I would look at my life as this, when this is true. And I was so saturated in it that when I went to this workshop, they had this opportunity where you put your name in the box. Like, have you guys ever had those experiences where you go to a workshop and you can win things, so you put your name in the box? And they allow you to put your name, like, I don't know, I think it was 5 times or 7 times for each person. I kid you not. I was so tapped into abundance. I won every single prize. It was crazy. I won a free bag, a free scarf, earrings, bath products. I won this little water bottle. I mean, it was going on and on. Like literally, I won 10 prizes. But here was the interesting things that I want you guys to be aware of was, after a while, I started to get uncomfortable. And so we all have limits to our abundance. And we want to, break those glass ceilings, because I reached a limit where I became uncomfortable because I was like thinking, oh no, I'm taking all the prizes. And, and I found myself starting to give some things away. And so what's great about this is, even if you're already abundant, you're going to have a ceiling. And so it's about allowing yourself to be even more open to greater levels of abundance and prosperity, and allowing more to come in. And so for me, what that meant is I had to be a little uncomfortable about allowing things to come my way and not feel bad about it. And so that might be the case for you, where, especially if there's other people around you and they're not doing so well with money or abundance, that might make you feel awkward. And so part of being in the flow is being okay when we're doing well. And when we share, coming from a really healthy place of sharing. And so that was really such a profound experience. And try it. Like, have a declaration for yourself. You can have a declaration of, money flows to me in surprising and unexpected ways. And take a couple minutes every morning to just saturate yourself and feel what that's like to live in that place. And what's your life like, and what shows up for you. And it's really powerful what can happen when we get our mind focused and when we're in that state of appreciation, because really there's only 2 states. There's either a state of lack or there's the state of abundance. And it's really about spending more of your time and disciplining yourself to focus on the abundance. And that takes practice. So one of the things I'd encourage you to do is, like, take time every day to notice the good in your life, right? So notice what's going well, and taking a moment to just feel into that and really appreciate it. If it's a person, if it's your health, if it's the fact that you have a home or a steady income, or whatever it may be, like really taking a couple moments to saturate yourself in that state of abundance and appreciation is going to help you to stay in the money flow. And I think it's when we aren't appreciative of what we do have, that's when we get out of the flow, because we stop appreciating things because we just expect them, right? So sometimes we stop showing appreciation for people or things that are important to us. So it's a good reminder. We can all use a good reminder. So let's talk about mistake number 3. And this is a big mistake that I see for a lot of people. And the mistake is not paying yourself first. And, you know, I know, I saw some recent statistics where 63% of Americans have less than 1,000 in savings. So if you're someone who has a lot more than that, like, give yourself a big pat on the back. And if you're not, then, you know, then what you're seeing is, wow, this is pretty common. This statistics came from the Huffington Post, and in January of last year. And what it talked about is how, 63% of Americans have less than 1,000 in savings. And so when that happens, that kind of puts us in panic mode, and it feels like we're not in flow. And there was another study that nearly half of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And so this is a common issue for people. And it's really important for us to get a handle on our relationship with money and really begin to take charge of our money and understand how money works and what we need to do in order to create a healthy balance with money, right? And that involves spending, earning, giving, saving. So when you're able to balance that formula of earning, spending, saving, and giving, that's when you know that you've got, you're in a good space in terms of having a well-balanced relationship with money. And it's often where we're out of alignment in one of the areas, right? We can often overspend than what we earn. Maybe sometimes we save too much and we become cheap with ourselves, So paying attention, like, where is the struggle for you? So if you're someone who doesn't write down your expenses, start to write them down and be really intentional about noticing how you spend your money and asking yourself, does your daily expenses reflect your values? Are you spending your money on things that really matter to you, that they reflect your value, that it's in alignment with who you are? Or do you find that you're just kind of spending money without really seeing where it's coming or going? So a great exercise of this is, writing down your expenses for 30 days. And one of my clients, when we looked at her relationship with money, what happened is she wasn't paying herself first. In fact, she was overgiving to her children. And if you're a mom, maybe you can relate to that. It's so easy to overgive to someone in our life. Or even if you're a dad, or in other relationships, we can overgive. And so what happened with my client is she was way overgiving in her relationship with her kids. And what was happening is, if you could imagine, because if you've ever been there, she was starting to get kind of like burned out and a little resentful, right? Like, because when you overgive, you can get resentful. And what we did is we rebalanced her. We got her paying herself first. Paying herself by putting money aside, valuing herself, taking better care of herself. And what happened when she did this, actually several incredible things happened. One is she could be more loving to her children because she wasn't overgiving and they stopped taking advantage of her. Two is she started to take herself out for a massage. She bought some other things for herself, so she was feeling more taken care of. And the third thing that happened is she got a 20% raise. She texted me and she's like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. I just got a 20% unexpected raise. And in fact, just last week, she moved into her house, her first house. So I'm so happy for her. And these are the kinds of things, amazing things that can show up when you really begin to shift your money mindset and really approach money from a very different perspective and start to take back your power in your relationship with money. So look at, your own relationship with money. Are you not paying yourself first? Are you not putting money aside for you? And, Dave Ramsey talks about this. If you're familiar with Dave Ramsey, he's, this financial guru. And what he talks about is a lot of times, this has nothing to do with our income level. It's really a state of mind. Because I know some people where they can make several hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they don't keep it. So they earn it, but they don't keep it because they don't put money aside for themselves. They don't pay themselves first. So what I'm pointing out is this isn't about the amount of money you make. It's about, are you valuing yourself and making sure that you've put money aside for yourself? Because when we don't, there's often like an issue about our self-worth, where we're not valuing ourselves, or where we're neglecting ourselves, or thinking that we don't deserve the abundance. So if this is ringing a bell for you, like apply this this change in mindset by putting yourself first and really putting a stake in the ground that you're going to start to put money aside for yourself. Because that could be a game changer for you, right? If you make it automatic and you put money aside for yourself, it can build pretty quickly. In fact, my husband is not a saver, and about 11 years ago, I started to put money aside from his paycheck, and we put it into, he's a police officer, and while he gets a pension, we put an additional amount into what's called a deferred comp. And so every time he got a raise, I would just add to, putting the money aside. It was automatic, so they would automatically take it from his paycheck. And he's about to retire. And what's so exciting is when you do this, your money grows. He's literally retiring with an extra $335,000 because of applying this concept of putting himself first. Now, luckily, he had someone to support him to do that. And you might need an accountability partner, someone to help you. But just think about that. Would you love to just have an additional $300,000 or more simply because you applied this one concept? Now, in order to do this, though, right, you've got to have the mindset that you're important, that you value yourself. You've got to have that discipline. But this could be a huge game changer where you're able to retire with ease when you are able to begin to really pay yourself first and begin to do it consistently and regularly, right? So consistently, and make it super easy on yourself so it's automatic. And I want to take a couple minutes to share a few of the biggest money blocks. And then I'm going to open it up for questions, because there's this saying out there that we don't get what we deserve. We get what we allow and expect for ourselves. So I'm going to repeat that again. We don't get what we deserve. We get what we expect and allow for ourselves. And this is why this is critical. I worked with another client on changing her mindset on this, and she really wanted a raise, but she was afraid to ask for it. And she saw other people getting a raise, and she was pretty upset. And so we worked on why she was afraid to get a raise. And it was about fears of, rejection, or putting yourself out there, or not sure if she deserved it. So we really worked on her mindset around this. And a week later, she received her raise, and she's very excited about that. And when I've done this, I actually ended up with 2 unexpected raises. So money can really show up when we change our mindset. So what I want to do is share common money blocks that keep people from money flow. So if you have a pen and paper, write them down, because I want you to begin to pay attention to whether or not these money blocks are showing up in your life. And in fact, this just came up for me recently, where a very common money block is that we feel undeserving of the money. Have you ever had this happen to you? I know, like last year when I got a raise, I kind of felt like I didn't deserve it. And I was really anxious about it. And I really needed to work on my mindset around it in order to receive it. And so check, notice, like, do you feel undeserving of money? Do you push money away without even realizing it? Do you have a hard time asking for money? Do you have a hard time, receiving the money, being available for the money? Do you find that you feel like you've got to keep giving the money away? So really paying attention to your own money blocks that come up for you. Some additional ones are the beliefs that money is bad, or it causes people to do bad things, or you can't be spiritual and have money. And so in our relationship with money, we can have these hidden beliefs that block us from flow. And this is where even your own upbringing can give you some insight. So if you grew up with people saying, like, rich people are greedy, or rich people are bad, or whatever it may be, or you can't be a good person and have money. Really just paying attention to that, because our money blocks prevent us from receiving the flow. Okay? And sometimes it's not just a belief. There's times where it's an emotion. So notice how you feel when you spend. Do you feel anxious? Do you get irritable? Like really just paying attention, not just to the beliefs, also pay attention to the feelings that you have around money, how it feels to spend it, how it feels to spend it on yourself and others, how it feels to receive it, how it feels to spend it in a store. So just really pay attention, because that's really critical. And I know I've had to like work a lot around this for myself when it came to spending money, because when I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. My mom was a single mom, and we really struggled for a while. And so there wasn't a lot of money in our household. And that really influenced how I approach money. Like even when I had it, I was so afraid to spend it. So I could have my money, but I wouldn't enjoy it. And maybe you've seen people like that, right? They have money, but they're not enjoying it. So, pay attention to like, what are the biggest blocks that are coming up for you in your relationship with money? And where could you make a shift that would begin to open the flow for you? That would begin to allow yourself to receive more of the abundance, that you deserve. So what I want to do is just quickly check in with all of you. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer, or anything that you would like more information on? Let me get back to the screen here. Any questions so far? I'm going to check the chat real quick just to see if there are any questions. So just give me a moment, please. Okay, so far I don't see any questions. If you do have a question, just, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, whoops, that's not what I want to do. Hold on here. Okay, so what I want to do now is, now that I've shared the 3 common mistakes with money and how to correct them, what I want to do is give you an opportunity to go deeper with this, right? So if you're noticing that you are having money blocks, maybe you have a lot of beliefs around money. So if you're working really hard and not getting the results you want, a lot of times it's because you have hidden subconscious beliefs that need to be cleared, negative memories, negative expectations, like all of those need to be cleared in order to open up to higher levels of abundance. So it's kind of like what Einstein said, where you can't solve the problem at the same level that it was created. So a lot of times we need to do some kind of clearing, right? Some kind of way to clear out so there's space for new abundance to come into our life. And this is true even if you have a home, right? Like if you have a home or wherever you may live, if you're wanting to bring in new things, you've got to get rid of the old. You've got to declutter and let out the old so that the new can come in and you can create a new experience and a new space. It's the same thing with our mind. We want to have the right mindset for the experience that we want. Because think about it, if you don't have the right mindset for the experience you want, there's going to be a disconnect. There's a dissonance. And it'll be hard to hold it and difficult to keep it, or you'll struggle. So what we want to do is create congruence, and we want to match it so that your inner world matches your outer world. And that's when you're in flow, is when you have the right beliefs, expectations for the experience you want. That's when you're in flow. That's when there's more ease. And that's when you're able to create your experience in a more powerful way. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is kind of give you an opportunity to hear about my Unleash Your Prosperity program. And in this program, we really change our relationship and our mindset with money. And we learn a step-by-step process for changing our money mindset and for taking control back of our money. We clear money blocks. We release fears with money. We release insecurities around receiving money, saving money, managing money. We increase your ability to be able to have that balance of receiving, giving, spending, and really know how to have a healthy relationship with money so that you're using it in a way that feels very purposeful. It's in alignment with you, and you feel like you and your money are working in partnership. And if you would like to join me in this program, it's an 8-week program, and it's for 1 hour, and we go through these processes and exercises to really get you in a place where you are able to have more prosperity come into your life. The program is going to start September 18th. That's a Monday. And it's 8 weeks. And I want to share with you just some amazing things that have happened in the last program. So in the last program, people received unexpected raises and bonuses from their employers. They were able to pay down credit card debt and bought new clothes and furniture in cash. Some built a reserve. They were able to attract new amazing opportunities that increased their prosperity and abundance. They experienced improved confidence in asking for and receiving money, as well as being able to keep and manage their money. They experienced peace of mind, relaxation, and confidence around their finances. So no more head in the sand. And they were able to spend guilt-free. And so here's what you're going to get in this program. And by the way, just this morning when I made this last slide, I decided to add a bonus. So I'm going to share this with you because this bonus is amazing. So this program is 8 live weekly programs. 8 live weekly calls. You get 8 powerful life-changing modules, forever access to the recording. So I don't know about you, but when I've taken workshops or programs like this, I love to listen to the recordings over and over again because every time I do, it goes deeper. So I've had some programs where I bought them 2 years ago and I listened and I implemented, and it still is making a difference in my life. You'll get weekly assignments and accountability, and you're going to receive a user-friendly workbook. And if you're on the webinar and you decide to take this fast action, right now, I'm also going to add a complimentary money clearing session with me. That's a private session. And the value of this is $250. So let me explain about why I'm so excited about this. So this life-changing program, this Unleash Your Prosperity program, I'm offering at an introductory group rate of only $297. So you're going to get 8 weeks with me for only $297. So if you take that fast action, you're basically getting like almost a $600 value. And in the money clearing session, we specifically clear your specific individual money blocks. So in the group program, we'll be doing that as a group. But if additional stuff come up, if you really find that you've got quite a lot of money blocks and you really need some individual support, I am offering the free money clearing session with you. And I've done these type of money clearing sessions with my own coach, and these are powerful. And so I wanted to offer that to you because you took the time to be with me today, and I really do appreciate it. So if you would like to join me, here is the link. You can go to shannonTran.com/unleash program, group program. So again, that's www.shannontranphd.com/unleash group program. And again, the program starts in September 18th. It's going to be at noon Pacific Standard Time. If for some reason you can't make it, don't worry, you will receive a replay and the recording of the call. So if some reason you're not available or if that time doesn't work for you, no worries, because you will still receive everything that for the investment. So I wanted to take this moment to answer any questions. Are there any questions that you have for me? I don't see any questions. We're just a quiet group. Okay, well, if there are no questions, I want to thank you so much for your time and let you know how much I do appreciate it. And so if you do have questions, you can also reach out to me. Feel free to reach out for me if you do have questions. I'm happy to answer them after the fact. So you can also reach out to me at support@shannontranphd.com. And I just wanted to thank all of you for joining me today. And I want to offer you a free gift. If you haven't received my abundance gift, please let me know. I'd love to send it to you as a thank you for joining me here today. In the abundance gift, it has a really beautiful one-page declarations that you can use. So the morning exercise that I do, it has a list of 20 on there, so you can choose one and begin to implement this in your life right now to begin to shift your prosperity mindset. There's also a great meditation, and then there's the book that I wrote on how to run your own race. So I do want to give that to you, and to request it, you can just, I'm going to put it in the chat box. You can go to support@shannontranphd.com, and I will send you that gift as my way of expressing appreciation for being with me today and to let you know how much I appreciate that. So if there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar for today. And again, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And I wish you an awesome day. And, you know, just the fact that you are here is sending a message that you want to be open to prosperity and begin to tap into your prosperity. So I hold that intention for you, whether you end up joining me on my Unleash Your Prosperity program or not. I wish you the best in really being prosperous in all areas of your life and just living an abundant life. So thank you so much and have a great day.